Donald Trump just held a disastrous press conference where essentially he said the United States will be surrendering to Iran in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And he said that whether you're France or any other country, you're going to have to deal with the Strait of Hormuz because the United States is going to leave regardless of what happens in 2 to 3 weeks. Watch what Donald Trump said moments ago in the Oval Office. I mean, this is Donald Trump surrendering. Here, play the clip.
The U.S. will be gone or done with the war in 2
I
or 3
think with
weeks?
2 or 3 weeks.
Not 3 weeks. If it is
We'll
3
leave.
weeks,
Because there's no reason for us to do this. Look, problem with the Strait, a guy can take a mine, drop it in the water.
Then Donald Trump said, you know, when I read the New York Times or watch other media outlets, they act like we're not winning this war. He goes, they're not putting up a good fight, Iran. They don't have any weapons. They don't have any missiles. They don't have anything at all. Well, what is it that they keep on shooting, Donald, into Israel and at their Arab nation neighbors where there are American military interests? Or what happened at the military base in Saudi Arabia in Riyadh where America's crown jewels of the Air Force were destroyed? What happened to the fact that Iran currently controls the Strait of Hormuz? But here's what Donald Trump said. Let's play it.
And when I read the fake New York Times, you take a look at it, it's like, oh, they're putting up a good fight. They're not putting up a fight. They're not even shooting at us, okay? We have planes. Planes are just ruling the sky. We have airplanes. Those two. We have airplanes. Nice, right? Lincoln with a little modern touch. The great Benjamin Franklin with a little modern touch. But think of it. They are roaming the skies over Tehran. They're not even being shot at because their equipment's been totally decimated. They have nothing to shoot. They have no Navy. They have no anything. And just think about this. They have no Navy. They have no military. They have no nothing. They're losing. They admit they're losing. They're begging to make a deal. And if you read the fake New York Times, a corrupt newspaper, where I'm suing them and I think I should do very well.
So then a reporter's like, so don't you care about the gas prices? I mean, they're up over $4 a gallon right now. So you're just going to leave the war, create this oil shock or a supply of shock in the oil supply and then say, see you later. And Donald Trump's like, so what? It hit $4, but we didn't get bombed by nuclear weapons. So that's a win. Here, play this clip.
It was very necessary.
Mr. President, a couple of questions for you on Iran, but first one that affects Americans here at home, gas prices. Today they hit $4.
And we're at $4, yeah, and we have a country that's not going to be throwing a nuclear weapon at us in 6 months.
But Americans are feeling the effects in the interim.
And they're also feeling a lot safer.
What is the plan to bring them back down?
All I have to do is leave Iran, and we'll be doing that very soon. And they'll become tumbling down. And stock prices were up today almost to a record.
A reporter then asked Donald Trump, okay, but, you know, Iran today threatened a bunch of U.S. companies in the region, and they listed these companies and said that they're going to strike them soon if the U.S. continues its attacks on Iran. And Donald Trump's like, what are they going to hit them with? BB guns? They don't even have weapons anymore. They do have weapons, Donald. They have their Shahed drones. They have their FPV drones. They have ballistic missiles, and they're utilizing them every day. We're showing here on the MeidasTouch network the aftermath of those drone and ballistic missile strikes. You're living in a delusional world where you're watching 2-minute hype videos thinking that everything's going perfect. Then why is Iran still controlling the Strait of Hormuz then, huh? Here, play this clip.
Than the past, yeah.
Mr. President, the Iranian government threatened a bunch of U.S. companies today in the region, including Google, Apple.
With what? What did they threaten them with? PB guns? Or
well, that's
they don't have much left to threaten.
My question for you is, are you...
I don't know. I mean, what did they... You made a statement. What did they threaten them with? I don't know. Tell me, how did they threaten them?
Well, all I know is that they threatened them, sir.
What does that mean?
Fair enough.
He said something nasty?
Is the government in touch with these companies? Are you helping to backstop them?
You don't even know what the threat was. What was the threat? I haven't heard it. What was the threat? Did they say they're going to blow them up? They're going to hit them? They're not. You know what they're not going to do? They're not going to hit them with a nuclear weapon. Yeah.
Is it something you're concerned about, sir?
No.
Iran's IRGC issues a warning that they will target 18 U.S. technology companies if the U.S. continues targeted assassinations of Iranian leaders beginning on April 1st. Those companies include NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft.
Most of those people are dead already. Yeah, Peter.
Then a reporter asked Donald Trump, so does Iran even have to make a deal with the United States? for you to end operations. It's like, no, we don't even need to do a deal. We're going to leave. We're going to leave, and all the other countries of the world can now deal with the Strait of Hormuz. Not our problem, their problem. Here, let's play this clip.
Does Iran have to make a deal? Does Iran have to make a deal for the U.S. to end its operation in Iran? And have you spoken? And have you spoken directly?
Iran doesn't have to
Iran?
make a deal. No. Yeah, I've spoken to a lot of people. It's a new regime. They are much more accessible. They are right. You know, they said, we have a present for you.
More of Donald Trump talking about Iran. He's like, yeah, but before we go, we're going to bomb some bridges, maybe take them 15 to 20 years to rebuild these bridges. Well, we're going to hit some of their bridges. So you're just talking about just blowing up more civilian infrastructure, just hitting bridges? Here, play this clip.
Knock out every single thing they have. Now, it's possible that we'll make a deal before that, because we'll hit bridges, and we've hit some. We'll hit some bridges. We've got a couple of nice bridges in mind. But if they come to the table, that'll be good. But it doesn't matter whether they come or not. We've set them back. It'll take 15 to 20 years for them to rebuild what we've done to them. They have no Navy. They have no military. They have no Air Force. They have no telecommunications. They have no anti-aircraft systems. They have no leaders. You know, their leaders are all gone. That's why we have regime change. We have nice new leaders. Peter?
Thanks, President. Then Donald Trump had to talk about his so-called presidential library. Like, it should be noted that DeSantis basically, in my opinion, stole land belonging to a college in the South Florida region, gave it over to Donald Trump, like prime real estate. That belonged to an education institution. Donald Trump took it over, and now Donald Trump says that his library is actually going to be a hotel and an office complex. Here, play this clip.
Your son Eric posted a photo of what will be the Trump Presidential Library. Yeah. It's a huge skyscraper.
In Miami.
Is that all a library? What else is going in?
No, well, it's a library. It's a museum or a library. It's a presidential, but I wouldn't start it till I'm out of office. I don't believe in building libraries or museums. It's really like the Barack Hussein Obama one in Chicago, in not a good location, and it's a very unattractive building that's seriously late and seriously over budget. I think you're going to see a great one here, and it'll go up on time, on budget, best location in Miami. They say it's the best block in Miami, and the state worked with us.
Will people live in the floors?
No, it's going to be most likely a hotel. You know, this concept could be office, but it's most likely going to be a hotel with a beautiful building underneath and a 747 Air Force One in the lobby, which is going to be a trick.
So is Donald Trump planning to use funds meant for his presidential library, many of which came from settlements extracted from major media companies, to build a hotel that he will personally profit from and do it to avoid taxes by saying it's a presidential library? By the way, while Americans are suffering right now, living paycheck to paycheck, if they're lucky enough to have a paycheck, as healthcare is being ripped away, as ICE and Border Patrol, Gestapo kill, torture, and terrorize the American people, while Americans can't afford things, this is what you're doing. You know, over the weekend, Eric Trump posted what the so-called presidential library is going to look like. Look at it. It's like a skyscraper where Trump's using the money from these settlements to build himself a hotel and an office. That's what they're talking about right now. Oh, and then a reporter asked him a really good question about, this viral video of the Apache helicopter that went up to Kid Rock's home, and that it was like loitering over, this Apache helicopter was loitering over a No Kings protest, intimidating the protesters. Then it went up to Kid Rock's house so Kid Rock could make a viral video about it. By the way, the Apache pilots were suspended, and the people involved in that operation were suspended by their military commanders, because it's absolutely inappropriate to be using our military equipment for such a wasteful and clearly partisan political purpose. And Donald Trump's like, too bad, but I like Kid Rock. Watch what Donald Trump says here, because shortly after Donald Trump says this, Pete Hegseth then says, I am hereby doing no punishment and no investigation for the Apache helicopter pilots who did this. He goes, thank you, Kid Rock. U.S. Army pilot suspension hereby lifted. No punishment, no investigation. Carry on, patriots. Folks, you don't get much more corrupt than this. You don't get much more criminal and disgusting. These vile pieces of freaking trash. Right? This Trump cabinet, these are such pieces of trash human beings. And we watched Donald Trump in the Oval Office play this clip.
And there was a viral video this week I don't know if you saw it. Army helicopters hovering near Kid Rock's house in Nashville. Did you see that?
I didn't see it, no, but I'm sure they had a good time.
So the Army just said the crews of these helicopters have been suspended. What do you think of that?
Well, it depends. Are they? Well, they probably shouldn't have been doing it. Yes, you're not supposed to be playing games, right? But I'd take a look at it. They like Kid Rock. I like Kid Rock. Maybe they were trying to defend him. I don't know.
Does Iran have to make a deal for the U.S. to end its operation in Iran? And have you spoken?
And then Donald Trump is like, you know what? This regime, this Iranian regime, they're sick. They're sick. They can't have nuclear weapons. But the people right now who we're talking to are much more reasonable. Let's play this clip.
To do a nuclear weapon, you'll have a president that will be like me and that he will go there and he'll knock the hell out of them again because they cannot have a nuclear weapon. They are very radicalized people. They're very sick leaderships. And I will say, though, that the leadership we're dealing with now with the new regime, because we have a new regime, and the new regime is much better than the past. Yeah.
By the way, you want to know what they're doing in Iran right now? Well, Iran's foreign minister, Araghchi, says Iran will not accept any ceasefire at all, says that if anything, there has to be a full end to the war across the region, which would require complete reparations for Iran. Iran keeps its ballistic missile and Shahed drone and FP drone arsenal. They have the potential ability to develop nuclear weapons in the future. They control the Strait of Hormuz, and they have full security guarantees for themselves, the Houthis, Hezbollah, and the Shiite militia groups in Iran. Otherwise, Shiite militia groups in Iraq. Otherwise, Iran says there's nothing to negotiate about. That's always been their position. And also, Araghchi, the foreign minister of Iran, says, we do not have any faith that negotiations with the U.S. will yield any results. The trust level is at 0, is what he's saying. Oh, and by the way, you have Donald Trump at that press conference. He just starts yelling at reporters. I'll show you this. Play this clip.
It's a new regime. They are much more accessible. They are right. You know, they said, we have a present for you, Mr. President, out of respect. And they said, wait a minute, you wanted me to answer the question. You're a fresh person. You know, we've had a lot of problems with you, haven't we? No, they don't. You asked me a question. No, they don't have to make a deal with me. When we feel that they are, for a long period of time, put into the Stone Ages and they won't be able to come up with a nuclear weapon, then we'll leave. Whether we have a deal or not, it's irrelevant. Now, it's possible.
And then Donald Trump, I guess the purpose of this Oval Office press conference was that Donald Trump was signing an executive order on mail-in voting, where he said that he would get access to all of the voters in different states and that he would decide who can vote by mail and who can't. And he would use the federal government to deny mail-in voting for lots of people, which clearly is against the law. And he also can't do that via an executive order. But here's what he says about the executive order. Here, play this clip right here.
Okay, so that's a big deal. Very proud of it. And I don't know how it can be challenged. You'll probably challenge it. You may find a rogue judge. You get a lot of rogue judges, very bad people, very bad judges. But that's the only way that can be changed. And hopefully, well, we don't appeal if it is, but I don't see how anybody can challenge it. I don't see how they can challenge it. And remember, it's about voter integrity. We want to have honest voting in our country, because if you don't have honest voting, you can't have really a nation, if you want to know the truth. Howard, I'll give that to you.
Well, there you have it. We'll keep you posted every step of the way. Hit subscribe. Help us get to 7 million subscribers. You may think you're subscribed, but you may not actually be subscribed. Double check. Subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to Scott McFarlane's YouTube channel as well. Thanks for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.